palm off. Mountain back to Atlantic Ocean. Upon me hills to Pocondre. To educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah. Focus on Liberia. For Liberia. For Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement, articulation, focus on Liberia, focus on Liberia, focus on Liberia, from Monday to Sunday, focus.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube.
In an atmosphere of democratic interaction between government and governed, a group of individuals came forth and requested permit for a demonstration on the identical issue. Government invited the individuals in an attempt to effect a meeting of the mind. True to our firm faith in democracy, the exchange was free and frank. We reiterated our assurance that the matter was continually under advisement, that we would still welcome any new suggestions, and that at the end of the day, only the supreme interest of the people would prevail in the matter. Soon we were again informed that in spite of all that had transpired, the demonstration would still proceed in total defiance of the laws of Liberia and duly constituted authority, notwithstanding the fact that they had been denied a permit when requested, and this information had been repeatedly brought to their attention. As I have sworn, as your president, to defend the Constitution and enforce the laws of the Republic of Liberia, I had to discharge those sacred responsibilities in defense of the nation and its people. In the melee occasioned by a defiant and illegal demonstration, the most tragic misfortune occurred of the death of some of my precious and promising citizens and wounding of a number of others, all of this with the attendant development of damage to millions of dollars worth of property. Had government not exercised restraint, there may have been even more casualties. I'm deeply hurt and aggrieved by this national tragedy, and I extend preliminarily in this manner my sincere sympathy and profound regrets to the affected families. atmosphere of democratic interaction between government and governed, a group of individuals came forth and requested permit for a demonstration on the identical issue. Government invited the individuals in an attempt to effect a meeting of the minds. True to our firm faith in democracy, the exchange was free and frank. We reiterated our assurance that the matter was continually under advisement, that we would still welcome any new suggestion, and that at the end of the day, only the supreme interest of the people would prevail in the matter. Soon we were again informed that in spite of all that had transpired, the demonstration would still proceed in total defiance of the laws of Liberia and duly constituted authority, notwithstanding the fact that they had been denied a permit when requested, and this information has been repeatedly brought to their attention. As I have sworn, as your president, to defend the Constitution and enforce the laws of the Republic of Liberia, I had to discharge those sacred responsibilities in defense of the nation and its people. In the merely occasioned by a defiant and illegal demonstration, the most tragic misfortune occurred of the death of some of my precious and promising citizens and wounding of a number of others, all of this with the attendant development of damage to millions of dollars worth of property. Had government not exercised restraint, there may have been even more casualties. I'm deeply hurt and aggrieved by this national tragedy, and I extend preliminarily in this manner my sincere sympathy and profound regrets to the affected families.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our special edition of this Easter Sunday. We are going to be brief. We know today is a special day where you have to spend time with your family like I have or I need to. Happy Easter to you and to your families wherever you are. I am tuning in from the great state of Florida. Just went to St. Paul AME Church, my home church where I serve as a senior steward. He has risen. Today, Christ Jesus, our Lord and Savior, rose from the dead. The tomb is empty. Death has no power over him. That was the message today at St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church in Fort Pierce, Florida, First Church. And all believers, wherever you are, whether you are a Methodist or you are a Baptist, that is the message. He has risen. So happy Easter to you and yours. Today I was quite amazed to see that many young folks in church. A church that has a vibrant youth department has a future. So I'm happy to have been in church today to listen to a great sermon, fellowship with some great folks. And here we are, we have to come and serve you wherever you are. If you are tuning in by way of radio, YouTube, Facebook, so welcome, share the show. It looks like we are having some technical issues with our links. So our panelists are having problem tuning in. However, we are here to serve you. to bring you up to speed about what happened during the week. So this is like our weekend review. We are going to go over everything that has happened during the week and some new ones. Send in your comment is possible. And let's begin. As you are aware, the month of April is a very special month in our history. We have April 14, April 12. As we lead to those days, we are going to be playing some of the great speeches, tuning in about history from the past. You just listened to the late President William R. Talbot, his speech to the nation after the April 14 rice riot. Leading up to April 14, we are going to be discussing some of those issues. But in the meantime, let's go over what is happening now in the Republic. In Liberia, the topics that are trending. It says, with nowhere to house juveniles, an 8-year-old rape victim is forced to live in the same community as her alleged attacker. The ANC raises red flag over Widows' nomination as NEC chair. The ANC urges Senate to conduct fearless and transparent scrutiny on the nominee. On the case, Samuel 12 versus the Republic of Liberia, one of the government's key witnesses took the stand. On a scrutiny, he says, we were not interested in the details. The government's own witness said they had no interest in the detail. During the week, we also saw the charging of Liberia's foremost economist, Samuel Jackson, with manslaughter and other crimes. We are also going to be looking at some serious questions. Some thinkers in Liberia says Liberia's economy poses greater threat than the border tension that was from the former minister, former Education Minister George Wellner is warning the Liberia worsening economic outlook, not only going on across the border and the border tension, but he finds the economic system in the country more dangerous. We also brought to you news about the United Methodist Church reaffirming lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people their rights in the church, and calls for the protection of gay and lesbian. That's the United Methodist Church. Liberian women fought for peace. Now it must protect the peace. That's from renowned Liberian educator Sister Mary Lorraine Brown, who is calling on the nation's women to harness their strong and soft power to cultivate a lasting peace. The law, trusts, and the NEC. Let me welcome Honorable Victor Nambe.
Mr. Gilman, good to be with you. Happy Easter Sunday.
Happy Easter to you.
Yes.
Hopefully you went to church.
I tried, but I didn't.
Oh.
I had plans to go, but I think the sit-down went over. But my wife and I, but anyway, we did pray privately, and thank God because of Easter, we're here today. You know, because the Son came to intercede on our behalf. We're all born sinners. And so happy Easter to all. Happy Easter to everyone who's watching as well. We thank God for today. It's good to be here with you.
Excellent. I know we may have had some, Easter is a very big day in our, those of us who are Christians and believers. During the working hours, we are in a hurry and we got mixed up with the link. But this is what sets Focus on Liberia apart from everybody else. They are versatile, knowledgeable folks. So by all means, there will be nothing that will stop the On Point. The longest continuous running show on Focus on Liberia from running. Even day and night, rain or shine, we will be here. But yeah, thank you very much. Let me play devil's advocate, no pun intended. But why have Satan done to you guys? Why did everybody just blame this guy for everything? He wakes up late instead of just admitting, listen, I overslept. The devil made me do it. Well, I got to defend devil here. Why y'all keep messing with this man? Why?
So, if you have a track record of misbehavior, if you are the bad child in the house, you're the evil child in the house, anything that happens, the parent, before they can think of anybody else, they'll go to you first. We know you did this. So anything that goes wrong, we blame your Satan.
So if you live in a town and you know Mr. Gaiman to be the chicken roll, he has stolen everybody's chicken.
That's right.
And
at the moment you're missing one chick, you get out with your colors in your hand and you march to Mr. Gaiman's house and tell him, give it up. I know you took it.
But listen, this thing, and one thing I noticed, people really hate Satan. I went to visit a friend of mine. He's a Muslim. And they kept talking about Satan. Satan. So what is this Satan? He said, that's the devil, Satan. So I said, so you guys you're calling Satan too? He said, yes, Satan, that bad man. So
bad man.
Everybody, I think Satan might be really weak because everybody want to beat him up. Everybody.
You have to remember now, sometimes we scapegoat, not everything, you understand me? But if you look around, you look left, you look right, nobody will blame you.
You go grab him.
You don't answer. And then push it down. He take all the credit. He claims everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, that's what happens when you take credit for everything.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't do it, then that's what happens.
Satan wants to be in the fries, let the jury say.
I mean, on every front pages, in every book, every time somebody looking for a scapegoat. He volunteered. So the people say, okay, that's what you
Yeah,
want. That's what you got.
I'm here. Blame me.
He like he's just like what the guy said. He says the police chief in Liberia. He just loved to be in front of camera, no matter what. Whether the
Yeah.
motorbike people fighting, whatever it is, Gregory Como is going to be there. Whether
He's, he's
he,
gonna be there. Whether it's to the border, he will be there.
he's not resolving any issue, but he's just there.
He just has to be there. And while you're at it, congratulations to you guys. I had to go up to New York to attend the removal ceremonies of my uncle, my cousin William Powell. Real nice gentleman. My mom's cousin from my mother's side, from River G. I met Alice there. Our colleague here on set, Alice Wellemoba.
Okay.
Yes, I think Alice come. I think she has polybo background, but I met her there. I didn't know how she's connected to the family. But yeah, it was a very beautiful ceremony. He will be missed. But I was following you guys on my way. I almost pulled over to call in, but you guys had a great show with Representative Salfoco. A very well spoken gentleman. I was really impressed
Oh
how well
yes.
spoken he is. I've had friends from St. Peter's Clover High, but I didn't know, such brilliance.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I will get inboxes to me, but I don't care. I didn't know such brilliance could come from, St. Peter's Clover. You guys, you did a wonderful job. And I was amazed too by the level of antagonism between two government officials. All of the instances that he was narrating and the apparent open threats from the IG to him, regardless of the fact that IG knew he may have been put on record. And so I'm looking forward to the IG coming in to. I think I didn't see how you guys ended it because I had arrived at the ceremony. I'll go back and watch it. But I hope the IG will come in because I think there was a lot that was put out there by this young man, Safoko. And he did also, I would say, confirm some of our assertions here, allegations here. The transport issue, for instance, Ministry of Transport. We had been asking the questions: how does the police director expect to get his signature on a document, such a contract? And he did allude to that too. So, but kudos to you guys. You were on set. Fanta was on set. I believe Tomlin and Peabody as well. You guys did a brilliant job.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Tao. Happy Easter.
Yeah, thanks. And my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You had just offended Tao by saying Happy Easter. It's a Western thing, and anything Western, we
Being the conspiracy theorist that Tower is, so he's offended by anything Western. All right, Chief, I take it back. Oh,
Tao, make me shame. Did you go to church today?
No, but what in the first place, I think you are misrepresenting my position because what we call Western is a lot of borrowed stuff from the Africans. What they
Okay.
did to us was, yeah, they were able to modify it to suit their own operation. So I'm saying whatever that they're giving us, let's look at it and take out what can work for us, and the rest that won't work, let's throw it out. And then let's look in our own culture and bring out the things that are good and the ones that are not good. Let us throw it out, but let us carve out a way that suit and serve our own interest.
Well, this is what I'm saying here. We're going to go into our topics, but if you
This is
have,
an African drink, by the way.
okay, I won't ask you what kind of drink is that, but it's all
I
right.
won't ask. I won't ask either. Just go ahead and drink it, African.
Yeah,
But
just drink it.
before you get to it, look, shout out to my girls of the Gamecocks of South Carolina. I know Don Staley today she's battling UCLA here. It's not looking good yet, but it's just the second quarter.
Oh, it just
I'm
started,
looking
yeah.
here. Yeah, it looks at the South Carolina Bruins. I think they are called the Bruins. I'm not sure, but they're up by I think 13 points. So Lauren Betts is a force to contend with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she has a very very capable assistant cast, but so is Raven Johnson, Joyce Edwards, uh, Akkad Makia. I think the South Carolina will take the day, but right now, the UCLA team is dominating. But I just wanted to send a shout out to my Philly girl. I don't know what happened to my two Philly kids, Gino and Don, on Friday night. When you're in the heat, man, the two of them, but Gino has come out to apologize, and I think it's all good. It's all it's all sports. I'm happy that he did, because that had the potential to diminish the feat that these children are accomplishing on the court. I mean, South Carolina, Don Staley has made it a powerhouse to contend with, and I just want to send a shout out to them.
Yeah, and it, if you are not a fan of South Carolina when you are from Africa, then there's something wrong with you. I'm a fan of Connecticut because I grew up in New Jersey. My son lives in Connecticut, and
Yeah,
forever we've been following Connecticut and Seton Hall. Even
yeah.
though I didn't go to either one of those schools, I went to Rutgers in Newark.
I
So
did. I did Seton Hall. Yeah, I did.
there you go. So
Yeah,
I've always been Seton Hall and Connecticut. There were two schools. Way back there was St. John's when they were, running the show at the time when Mike Jackson was there. So, but when you look at South Carolina, right, what this girl has done,
yeah.
she has most of her girls are from South Sudan,
Yes. Right.
and when you look at those girls and what they have done and continue to do academically and athletically. In fact,
Yes.
my court, the other girl, she has
Yes.
just been playing basketball for less than 6 years.
That's right. I
And,
mean,
and
she built
she's
a program over there, Jerome. You're right. The confidence, she really. But go ahead. She built. She's not just building basketball, but she's building institutions over there.
yeah, and you gotta give it to her. Some of these girls are freshmen, sophomore, and can you imagine the UCLA Bruins have not been in this spot since 1972, over
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah.
And these girls are coming in their freshman year. They are at this level, freshman and sophomore. They got 3, 4 more years to go. Taiwo, come on, we're talking about athletics now, our women. I don't know if you follow basketball.
Not college basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So then,
follow some NBA, but not
okay,
in the college level.
great. But yes, she has done very well, and I watched the game. The game also has something to do with the mind, right? It's a mind game. Okay, Miss Staley poked the bear, and it worked.
Yeah.
What the coach for Connecticut was saying says the decorum, the rule of the game is the two coaches will meet in the circle in the center circle before the game starts, and we will shake hands before the game
Yes.
starts. She says she done then she came center court, never shook his hand. He waited for 3 minutes. So it was a psychological warfare. She was
Yeah.
getting
It
head,
was.
and it
It
worked.
was. It worked. And to your point, I didn't watch the game, but from what I was listening to, I think you're right. She was in his mind because what she did was, I think she turned the tradition upside down on his head.
Yeah,
She did. She said she went to the bench when he was not expecting her and shook everybody's hand. He wasn't there, but Gino is Gino. I mean, the man
he's
has
a
been
traditionalist.
exactly. Gino has been a traditional Italian. He's been coaching for over 40 years. So Gino. He didn't care that she did. Gino went away. Gino went there, so he went waiting for her in center court, and she said, "Well, I've already done what I was supposed to do. I'm not coming there." And but again, like you're saying, it's all mind game. And she really, I think you're right. She succeeded. She got in his head. Even the issue was making with was Sarah Strong ripping her own jersey. He didn't. I don't know how he didn't know that. But again, I think he was so seized up by the competition. He put that on South Carolina, and so I think he went back and watched, and Gino being Gino, he realized that he was in the wrong, and he came back and apologized, and it's all good. I think it's all part of the game. I did hear my girl Don Staley talking about she would beat Gino, and I was saying, what? You're gonna beat Gino? Say, hey, how you gonna do that? But it's all part of the game, all the smack
Listen,
talking and all of
man,
that.
that
It's all
high,
part of the game.
that high is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Listen, we look, we this man had won 54 games in a row.
Yep.
Okay, he has been picked to win it all,
Yeah.
and you are the underdog. Whatever you can do, blow yourself up, beat your chest, say things you want to say. Like the real crew in Hall coming out, the crew
Yeah.
man never say we will fight, I will beat you.
If you go man doesn't say with friends, say I will.
I
Yeah.
will beat you.
Come
So
on.
you
I'm
you
on
know
black.
I'm a black. You see this small
I
woman.
will
Look at the
beat
big
you.
man. Say I will beat you. Taiwo, welcome, man. Let's talk. Let's talk. You see, every time when we come here, people think we just come here to talk politics and hate each other. No, we are real human beings too. We watch soccer, we
That's
watch
right.
baseball, we watch basketball. We got family, we got children. So all of the things we do is not all about politics. But Taiwo, we are talking about the last team in Africa to make the World Cup, Democratic Republic, or I think it was the Congo. Africa had 10 teams in the World Cup for the first time. 10. What does that say about our direction, our ability, where we are going?
Oh well, that is if you look at, there is a lot of positive to it, and that's a good place to start. But uh, for Africa, it shouldn't just be important just that some teams made it to the World Cup or made it to some global tournament. What this should encourage the continent and the various countries for them to develop the game, for them to invest in it. This is one of the problems, or these are that we have. We are not developing the games. We are not investing in it. These are various nation leagues and the local leagues cannot carry themselves. And how come uh, the European League and other leagues can tap into Africa and they're making billions off of the continent? But the teams themselves that are based on there, because we have not taken the time for us to market ourselves. So we have 10 teams in there. How many of them actually have real quality that they can actually compete? So while they're 10, that's fine. But how many are they all going to go out in the first round? And then you have maybe the same usual 2 or 3. So because it's a big thing. Because if you look at it, an African center person, but we also, I think they're unfair to South America. Because South America, with their football history, because they're doing it based on your position or the teams that are on in those various continents or in the location, the South American having less spot or the same spot as the Africans, and the Africans really not putting that much effort into developing their game and investing in it and making actual real impact that could actually represent what Africa and the talent pool that is in that place. So I'm not so moved so much about how many teams qualify. I'm looking at how well can we develop and invest in the league so that we can, like Liberia, there are a lot of little talented kids all over the place. What happened to the post development to where children and young men and women can actually earn a living? They can actually get involved on the continent, that they don't have to wait until they go all the way to Ukraine and to Indonesia and to all these places. And by the time they make it to the main leagues in Western Europe, they're already old. Some of them barely make it. And so until we can start doing that, and this is how I look at it, but it's good that it's like that. It's an expanded league. And yeah, DRC Congo have good team. They actually have a really good team. Their players are really good. But if you look across Africa, most of our players that we have, that they're all developed somewhere else. The local leagues. I remember when I was young, to close this, when I was younger, I think all of us here, our national leagues were really good, right? I mean, it was a whole lot competitive. It was good. The players, we pretty much built Lone Star a lot from what? From home. Now you barely can get in the players in the league. I went over there and I tried to watch the league. You can't blame the kids. There was no investment in the game. There was no real development in the game. The people that it's not organized the way it run like a business where they're sponsors, they're everything else, and these sponsors can actually get something out. So I hope that we kind of try to move in that direction. That's the only way the game can really grow.
Wow. Let me look at the different teams. Victor, let's go over the teams, the different group, and then we can decide. Guys, if you are listening to us, wherever you are listening for, you decide which one is the group of death. That is the group that everybody look forward to in the World Cup. Group A, let me see who are in Group A. Group A got Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and the Czech Republic. Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and the Czech Republic. That's Group A. Group B, Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. That's Group B. Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. That's Group B. Group C, they got Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. That's Group C, Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. Group D, USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. That's Group D. Group E, Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. Wow, now that's a tough group. Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. That's Group E. Group F, we got the Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. That's another tough group. Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. That's a tough group. Group G, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. That's Group G. Group H, Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Group I, France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Now that's a tough group. France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. I don't know about Iraq, but I know France, Senegal, and Norway. Those are three great teams. Group J, Argentina, Algeria, Australia, and Jordan. That's Group J. Group K, Portugal, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. Then Group L, England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Those are the 12 groups in the World Cup. In my estimation, Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti seems to be like a tough group. But then Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia, to me, that's an even tougher group. But then you got Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. I think that may just turn out to be the group of death. Then you got Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. That's another tough group. Portugal, Argentina, Algeria, Australia, Jordan. What's about England, Ghana, and Panama? So, guys, you got a whole lot of choices here. But I think if I were to go over Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czech Republic. I think Mexico and the Czech Republic may leave Group A. Group B, Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. I would say I would pick Switzerland and Canada. Group C, Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. I think it would be safe to say Brazil and Morocco would be the two out of that group. Group D, USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Huh. The game has been played in the USA. Do you want the USA to go out in the first round? I don't think so. So we should do some yama yama there to make sure at least we move up in groups. So I would pick Turkey, Turkey, Paraguay, and USA. I would pick Turkey. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
They all look pretty tough on paper, I have to say. But before I forget, shout out to I met a lot of people at the program, my cousins, who spoke very highly of FOL. They followed the program. I was pleasantly surprised, I have to say. But yeah, a lot of people came up to me to kind of give kind of complimentary, words for FOL. So let me convey to FOL, you guys, especially the CEO Dennis Ja. Of course, it was a River G gathering. So I know, I know Dennis.
Home court advantage. FOL got home court advantage.
Exactly, home court advantage. Yeah, but now it's standing. Let me just send a shout out to a lot of those people who came around to commend what FOL is doing. They're talking about sports in the world in Africa. Again, shout out to Musa Asambelete. He's also mourning a loss. I think one of his father figures was telling us the last gathering we had last weekend that his mother had left early, and there was this old man who was like the tenuous little connection he still had to it because he knew the mother and knew him when he was coming up, and so every time he went to Sacred P, he would sit with this old man, and so he was kind of conversing with his mom through this man, and for years this man has been his wife's counsel. Apparently this old man passed. While he was in Europe, he got a call from there, and man, he cried. He said, and again, we're all humans. So today he wrote about that too. So my shout out to Musa Asambelete and the family. But I will urge everyone who is interested, who keeps bringing up the story of Musa Asambelete and sports, to go on my page or go on Musa Abilities. There's a 2-minute clip that came out. I forget the guy's name, but he said he's been involved with African football for 31 years and over 16 years with international sport. And he basically broke it down. Why, for instance, African sport is where it is. Musa Ability himself, why he was allegedly banned by FIFA. The politics of football. This is not by accident that Africa, even though we're doing so well, probably even better than some of the European programs, but we continue to be held down. Musa Ability opposed imposition of a European over CAF, over the Confederation of African Football, and because of that, Infantino, who I think Gianni Infantino, I think he's still the president. He won Musa. This guy is narrating. It's a 2-minute clip. Go and watch it and take a listen. But so I think that explains why African sport is where it is. Yes, there's corruption. I mean, look at what's happening right now with Morocco and Senegal. You understand me? But notwithstanding, I think these programs are hijacked, by these Europeans, and we need to band together as Africans and make our voices heard. I think we've been subjugated. We're bringing a lot. We're bringing a lot to the table, better than in most instances than some of these European, programs. I think we should be given the voice that we deserve. That's the point that Musa Ability was trying to make, opposing Gianni, and because of that, among other things. I'm not saying, he didn't do anything wrong. I don't know, but I'm just saying the overriding reason seems to have been politics. So he was railroaded because of his opposition. He was told to knock it off, and he said no. He was going to do it because he knew it was right, to stand up against bringing in a European to take over CAF. And so I just wanted to throw that on. And so when these start happening, most of them are not by accident that these Europeans continue to keep us down. The same colonial mentality still ring. So we'll see. And I'm not feeling well right now because my Gamecocks are struggling right now. Not looking good.
No more. The game just started.
I will turn the TV up.
Logo, you're here, yeah. Victor said that he want for African to play for because that European team we should leave here alone. Yeah, you heard it here. No,
I didn't say that.
No,
I
no, I'm just joking. But look, you see, Vic, I agree with a lot of things you said. Everywhere where if you study game theory, once somebody write their rules and they bring in and say, "Come, let's play," you are going to always lose. You're going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And just like the way you see in football that you're pointing out, that's the same way in everything else. So we have to engage these things to where we are out of part of the people that are writing the rules, or we're able to say, no, we're not going to play by this other rule or by that other rule. So like that, you see. But look, those zones that you listed at this stage, when everybody get to that level, to where to qualify for the World Cup, anything can actually happen. Anyone can beat anybody. And none of the teams are going to show up there and just lay around for them to be walked over. But if I'm looking at the zone, the different groups, I think the Argentina and Portugal group, I think that group is a very tough group. Because I think it's Portugal, Argentina, and then another team. And I think it's only two teams that are supposed to qualify. So that's going to be a tough group. From out of Africa, I will be clear here. The Arabs to the north are not Africans. They themselves, they know that. They mentioned that many times. They occupy that continent, but they are not. We know that it came there through invasion. So when I'm counting Africa, I really don't count them. But Ghana team is not that good. I hope they still have some time for them to try to do a little bit more. I've been following their team since the 2014 World Cup in 2018 in Russia, when the Guillaumes and all these guys started to retire. I could see that they were not bringing up talents as quickly as they could bring them in, and I started pointing out since then that team was not really good enough. They needed to recruit. They tried to recruit some of their players that were born abroad or were brought up there, but apparently it's really not kind of gelling too well. So from out of Africa, it will be Senegal, Ethiopia, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and DRC Congo could put up some fight, but Ghana got to do something. Ghana really, really have to step it up, and they themselves have seen it. That's why they have to let the coach go. I don't know how much it can help them when it's so close, but out of the African teams that could actually push to do something, I would look at Senegal and Ivory Coast, and then maybe DRC Congo.
Well, what's about South Africa?
Yeah, South Africa is okay. Look at the thing with South Africa. South Africa play a little bit. They used to play like Ivory Coast. You see, Africa have a unique style of play. Just like generally, we are what you will call we improvise. And it has a good side and its bad side. The good side is that if you meet a team that is technical, and if you look at Nigeria, that is why Nigeria, in spite of their somebody will call it crime against their own football culture, they always do well because they always have these individual players that can actually drive the team if the team is not doing well collectively. So when you see South Africa try to play the European way, wherein the Europeans are not athletic, they are not They are not really skillful, but they're technical. So they don't allow you. That is why when our players don't develop at home and they go abroad and they develop there while they're young, they always struggle because if you meet them, the Europeans are very technical. They learn the science, they use the space and all this stuff. So if you meet a team that can do that, and then you cancel each other out, then what? And that is what affecting Brazil now. Almost all the Brazilian players before Brazil players were developed at home and they were very good, then they went abroad. The Brazilian players are leaving at such early age, like the Vinicius Junior and stuff. They don't have the Brazilian style, and the Rodrigo and all these kids, they don't have it. Then if you look at the Brazilian league, because of all the money coming in, you know what they did? They're bringing the people from Argentina and from Mexico. They're the one. So the Brazilian style of play, the samba, is pretty much being diminished. And you can see it in their collective national team. They're struggling. Their identity, they're losing their identity. So they have to be able to do something. And that is a problem with like South Africa. And Africa had that problem for a long time. You'll see that if Africa meet a technical European team, the European team is more technical than them because they were trained in the academy by French guys that put the technical stuff in, and when they meet them, they cancel them out, even though the team was very good, with good players, but they struggle. Then you see Nigeria that almost barely had anything. When they meet those same teams, they almost walk over them or give them hell.
Thank you.
Yes.
1 minute, I'm coming back to your name and where you calling from. What topic you want to discuss?
I'm not going to discuss any topic. You mentioned, it was Mr. Nangwe. Mr. Nangwe mentioned the clarification, the information provided by a man who has spent 31 years with CAF and international football. He's currently the Deputy Minister of Sports. They call it Andy Kwame. I know him when I work with the Federation of Library Tennis Association, and I work with the Federation as president for the Library Tennis Federation. I work with him. He's I think Deputy for Sports or something like that. He actually provided information that many of us knew all along, because the money FIFA claimed to have given Musa ability for Ebola to like $50,000 or so. It was not even that much money. Musa, there is evidence to that. He even wrote the check back, even though he argued that he used it for the intended purpose. But he said, even just for argument's sake, if you say I didn't use it, yeah, it's a $50,000 back here. He wrote a check and there's evidence to ever receive it. But then they give him punishment that is far more than even the value. I don't know how many $100,000 they fined him and gave him 10 years back. Like Mr. Otao has consistently argued here, the Western institution, the World Bank, IMF, these global institutions, they just established them to follow, perpetuate the hegemony of the Westerns. That's all they do. FIFA is a very corrupt organization, very corrupt. You go to the Department of Justice, I believe, for 2017 or so, FIFA indicted most of the FIFA hierarchy over the World Cup awarding, I think, to Russia or something. They took bribes just to award the World Cup to Russia because Russia wanted to true or not, maybe they wanted to make Russia look blind. But the Department of Justice or Treasury, they indicted these people, They alleged they engaged in trading in US dollar, the US currency. They were taking bribe, and Musa Ability was not one of them indicted in that. He was working then as head of LFA. He was not one of them. So, if you listen to Andy Kwame clip interview, he spoke long, but they just took a clip. I'm encouraging government to play so viewers who don't have the ability to watch it, to listen to that. It's quite interesting. He's revealing the dictatorial nature. He's indicating his relationship with the guy who was CAF president for most of his lifetime, Ayato, the Cameroonian. You know, so it's good to listen to that. You know, I just I wanted to contribute at this point to that. You know.
Thank you, Mr. Gongo. And I'm dropping this in the chat room.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 1 minute, but
If
yeah.
you look at the Unity Party, the people who call Musa Belete criminal in Liberia, and they were campaigning, were the Unity Party people. What, in fact, for me, what convinces me that all this has been propaganda all along is they have the absolute power. They can sack on position, they can remove judges, they can remove anyone, and they are doing it. They can indict anyone on falsehood, and they are doing it. It's evidential. Why they can't indict Musa Belete? You know, why they can, all the things they say about him, why they not being able to bring him to court? To show this negative criminal mentality in Liberian politics, you know, it's not going to take the country nowhere. Today, shamefully, because I can even add that Guinea has made Liberia to act responsibly. You know, I don't agree with the action by the Guinean president or the Guineans, I should say. But because of Guinean action, LTA is in Lofa today deploying Starlink to the border point now to immigration. Immigration or border security never had internet connectivity. True, all of this action now, I saw Clarence Massacre in Lofa. They say they are going to deploy Starlink. They're going to be deployed Starlink to all the border point. It took Guinea, the still beginning to Liberia for our government to come. I mean, not just necessarily this government, previous government also failed to do the same thing. You know, not just the Bouakai government, it's the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the We Are, all of them, they have interest in the border. It speaks to the carelessness, the lack of interest in the country by our leaders. Our leaders are interested in only two things, money and power. They don't care about the border. They don't care about even your resources. They give it to foreigner, you know.
Thank you very much. Our potent, opinionated, Honorable Gonglo, Kelebu Gonglo. He has an opinion, and it's a good one. If you have a gentleman or a woman who everybody say he's a thief or he's a murderer, and you have him within proximity, why aren't you taking this murderer to court? Why aren't you persecuting this murderer? Instead, you're just walking around telling folks you know him to be a murderer, but you can't do anything about it. So we will come to that later on. But yes, let's look at the good thing that African soccer have done, or what soccer have done for African players, before we go into our political topics. When we look at Mr. Nambi, I'll go to you. When you look at the European countries like Great Britain and France, you look at the French team, you think it's an Ivorian or Cameroonian team. They're all black, maybe one or two white guys. You go to England, the same thing. Switzerland, I mean, all the countries now, Germany, they all having the top black players from all over Africa. Hey, they are making some top dollars too. So let's look at the downside and look at the upside.
Yeah, I think you're right. If you look at these powerful programs, you know, whether the England, Britain, you know, even the USA, they're populated by you know, dark and brown skin brothers. Even the female squad, dark and brown skin sisters. You know, so I think we dominate on the pitch, but yet administratively, you know, we are in the minority. And thanks to Mr. Gonglo, he's right by what he said. I'm happy that, you know, he is a witness to what this gentleman is alleging. Yeah, his name is under the. I just didn't think it was his name, Andy something, but you know, yeah, you're right. Even here in popular sports, whether it be American football or you know, soccer, whatever it is, the black and brown kids dominate, but they never in the back office or front office, as they call it. it's only now that even in the U.S. football that the black quarterbacks are beginning to rise up. But up to 10 years ago, there were less than 2 or 3 black quarterbacks. I'm not even talking about black coaches. Until the NFL had to be forced by the Players Association and other pressure groups to hire more minority coaches. And this is why the thing between Gino and Don Staley is upsetting, because it has a little bit of a racist tone to it. But Gino himself, Italian, I'm glad he did come out to apologize. But yeah, the racism is all over the place, and we have to call it out for what it is. Some people are embarrassed, or when you see it, you should call it out, because it is intentional. They're not doing it by mistake. They intentionally, trying to stare you down because they think you're less than. Basically, that's what it is. And I'll be honest with you, some of these people would bring a lot to the table than they do. But they just using the fair skin advantage. Donald Trump in the White House today, he is not better than Obama in any way. But he projects himself like in fact, he says it, the best president in the history of the US ever. That's what he says. And so we have to speak up for ourselves, because if we don't, who will? So we have to stand up, and that's what Musa tried to do. Yeah, he ran for president of FIFA. I see my friend Flex is Fix Electronic is typing it. There's nothing wrong with that. It is. You're right. We shouldn't be shy. We shouldn't be embarrassed to speak out, even at your workplace. If you think something is unfair, especially has racist opinion, if you don't say it, they're not gonna stop. And that's why I tell my kids all the time: if I'm stepping on your toe, I will enjoy it until you tell me to stop. If you don't tell me to stop, I will keep doing it. So when it is happening, you have to speak out. That's the only way it's going to stop. If you don't, then you continue to endure the pain. So African football again, the World Cup is coming up. I'm happy. We finally, imagine there were times we were having sometimes 2 or 3 teams coming from the entire continent. And sometimes Euro will send 20. So I can't count the number of teams. Why? So now I think you said a lot. I'm not even looking at it. Honestly, I've not looked at the table, but I think you said about 20 teams are finally coming out of Africa.
10.
So I think
10.
that's a good.
Okay, well, Joseph Tower, this is where I always come in defense of the white so-called racist establishment, right? The white man looks at everything through the prism of interest, right? What is going to benefit their interest? If it means they will go to Africa and bring 5 or 11 black folks to put English jersey on them, just win it. The title goes to England, the money comes to England, don't worry about it. In Africa, we say, if you are not black, whether you are good or not, you're not going to play on our team. So what is it that we are not seeing that other folks are seeing?
So I think what we're not seeing, Jerome, is, and I'm sorry to cut you in.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you, Leonard. I think what it is there's nothing wrong with being competitive, but too often the fair-skinned brothers and sisters, the white people, the Caucasian, far too often they cheat, they're dishonest, they're corrupt, and they come and present themselves as the purest of the pure, which is not true. And we accept that, and we make ourselves inferior to them. They are very corrupt. Donald Trump is very corrupt. Everybody knows that. He is thieving from the federal government. I can tell you the amount of billions this man is staring his way. His son-in-law is all over the Middle East. Talking about Middle East trying to buy him a plane. You think all of this is for nothing? It is not. So when they're calling us out, I think we have to also call them out. Cyril Ramaphosa and other people who have the bigger platform in Africa, they have to call these people out too. They're corrupt, they're racist, they lie, they cheat, and they know it. But because we don't say it to their faces, they get away with it and present us as the ones who are the corrupt. Yeah, everybody should compete for what is their interest, but do it fairly. But they don't. They don't play fairly. Right now, Trump is all over the place here trying to cheat the next election because they know they're so unpopular. He is trying to do everything possible, introducing all kinds of complications because he wants to cheat. And the Democrats are sitting down there, they're playing fair. And I think if they're not careful, even though Trump may not be on the ballot the next election around, they will then return themselves to the White House again.
Yeah. Well, that is from the mouth of a tree hugging
latte drinking, and I can say latte drinking.
our our protecting ants protecting labor. Joseph Tower, they will hug the tree. They say tree should not be cut. The ants, God put them here for a reason. Don't dig here before the ants get hurt. That's the laborer. Now he want to blame everything on Trump. But Mr. Tower, what's wrong with us taking advantage of the same thing? If we get money, if we bring white people to play on our team and win it and keep the money, what's wrong with that? They're doing the same thing. Why are we not?
So this is the issue. The Africans that come to Africa, I mean to Europe or to the West, or African companies, and they establish there. How do they function? Have you ever seen them take advantage of the European countries, Arab countries, or Asian or Western countries? No. The reason is because the West wrote the rules of the game. They put all the infrastructure in place, so they're able to regulate you and you function within the rule that is set for you. There are a lot of Western companies and Asian companies and Arab companies come to Africa. What is the outcome? What is the result? They come there, they exploit us, they destabilize us. I'm giving you 6 scenarios to go to that point. The thing here is that Africans are functioning not from a position of power, of nation building. You cannot build nation. The ideals and the ideologies and the concepts around it cannot be borrowed from other people. It has to be developed from within your own worldview, your own psychology, the things you experience, your own challenges. So from our educational system, it is not designed for us to solve our problem. That is why no matter how much we go to school. So when you look at it, you know that this one World Cup, I pointed it out to somebody. Now, do you know that there are more Africans in the World Cup in Qatar than any other race? If you look at the African teams, you look across the French team, the English, the British, the Americans, all over. You see, they made up the highest. If that was the West or any other group of people, you will see they will politicize that, they will commercialize that, they will capitalize on that because they understand about the same interest you mentioned, Jerome, and they understand how to project power in everywhere where it worked for them. African wouldn't even look at it that way. We think that there is something here that we are all just friends, that we are just some kind of partner. No, it doesn't exist. Multiculturalism doesn't exist. No two cultures can function and live side by side. One will displace the other or suppress the other. So when you bring, when a white man or a British or German or Chinese bring Africans in to work for them, that Africans serve the interest of that German of the other people. When Africans bring whites or anybody else in, because their societies are structured and organized to project power, those people become agents of their home countries or the countries from which they originated from. And this is the difference. This is the problem that we have to solve. And look, my brother here, Nangwe, made a point. He said the Africans do well on the pitches and stuff, but in the back offices and in the corporate area. And this question was raised to the late Jesse Jackson. It was this guy here that used to be on CNN, that show that used to wear the suspender. I thought Larry something. Yeah. He said, he asked that question, why Africans do well? I mean, African Americans do well on the pages and stuff, and then in the back offices. He said, because on the pages, the playing field is level. But in the back offices, it's not. Because the rules are written and the way it functions is hidden. And these people know who you are. There is nothing wrong with us. We are some of the most talented people and capable people in the world. But so the moment we're not in basketball, what happened when they brought you there? You took over it. You were not in baseball. You were not in football. They never wanted to like to play golf, tennis. Every time it's open up, what happened? You take over it. That is not people that are not capable. They know this. They're afraid of you. There is something that we are missing. They keep saying that black people don't want to do for themselves. It's not true. You in Florida, you heard Rosewood. When the blacks say, you know what, we're going to come together and run our own stuff. We're going to depend on ourselves and build. The moment they saw the progress, what did they do? They went in and murdered the people, burned everything down. Juneteenth in Oklahoma. It's the same thing. We are witnessing it now, but we can't even recognize it. Minnesota is not about somebody stealing some money from Medicaid or no. The Africans and other people led by the Somalians were able to organize and took over the entire economy. And the whites saw this. Trump came in. Trump just made the announcement 3 weeks ago. We are going to take the economy back from the Somalians of Minnesota. He said, I'm going to see to that. So this is not just a Trump thing, but I'm just telling you, this is how it functions. We are seeing it even in Africa. Country like Liberia that don't try to develop and do power building. What happened? They don't bother you. Then the moment a guy come in the Sahel and they decide that, you know what? You keep saying that we're begging you. You know we don't want that. We're going to take our own resources and organize it so that we can take care of our people. Immediately, tribal are coming on a threat. So you can see it. You can see it with the Chinese. But because the Chinese understand about nation building and power relationship, they were able to organize the society in a way where they can actually compete. You can see it now in Iran. What did Iran do? Nothing. They're in their own country. They decide they want to manage their own affairs. No, it's not going to happen. You cannot own the oil that is in your own land. You kill your own people. They told us that Saddam killed his own people. How many? They went in and destroyed the whole country and killed over 1 million. Look at it. They told us that Gaddafi killed his own people. I knew a bunch of Libyans that were in engineering school. They had everything. They went there, they destroyed the whole place. So out of a certain, so it's like you in your house. I said, my man, you beat your children, so I will come and break down your whole house. How does that help your children? So it is so Africans have to organize themselves and understand power relationship. And for you to develop that, you have to develop it from within your own culture. You have to not depend on other people. How have you been made to believe that other people are superior than you? To tell you these stories and you just believe it and will go with it. That everything they say have to be final. It is not true. So France and stuff, they can take those players. They use them based on a power relationship and it work for them. Go and take a bunch of French people. And it is based on this that we're even debating the land, that Negro clause, until Liberia can organize itself to put the rules and regulations in place to be able to regulate and manage stuff. Open up the citizenship stuff and you have another Gaza or something, and people want to tell us that it's a fear mongering. No, it's not true. You don't have the institution for you to hold the Lebanese that have been pushed, 1 million of them, and their brothers are already in there. They will enter into Liberia, come and take citizenship. They will displace the local population because the country is not ready. It is not prepared. It has not done its homework. And so that's the problem that we have. We have not done our homework, Jerome. We have to do this.
Yeah, go ahead, Lance, so we can move.
Yeah, we have to do. Okay, until we can do this, anything that you bring a bunch of Americans or French, very quickly you will see them controlling the FA. Like Africa put up Afrobeat. Do you know how much Afrobeat made last year? Billions. How much went there? Less than 60 or 70 million went back to the African continent. You make the music, they market it. African black descendant came up with the telephone. The white man came up with the telephone bill. The African came up with electricity. The white man came up with the electricity bill. That is it. So because they're organized in a way where they can grab and seize things.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. We are reading your comments. We are doing soccer. We're going to go back to to our schedule and discuss these things easily and quickly. Basically, it would be like a weekend review because we have spoken about these things during the week. So it's a breath of fresh air to talk about these other issues like soccer. That is a major issue that is about to bring maybe hundreds of billions of dollars in 3 countries. The United States, Canada, and Mexico. Just imagine, right? If Africans wanted to compete, now everybody is talking about the reason why Morocco wants to take the African Cup of Nations from Senegal is to give them some kind of benefit so they can say, can we now host the World Cup in 3 northeastern African countries? That would be Morocco, that would be Egypt, and maybe Tunisia, like they are doing to bring maybe trillions of dollars into their economy. No, we were thinking now, but now countries like Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria should be thinking. It happened in South Africa.
Yeah.
We should be thinking about the same thing. Now, listen, instead of us sitting here and fighting among ourselves for minerals, we can make more money on tourism in maybe from June to August, June to July. In 2 months, you can generate $100 billion.
Yeah.
As compared to digging everything out of your soil. So if our leaders, Joseph Boyka, if you are listening, forget about the border. Start thinking about developing our infrastructure. When folks come to Liberia, yesterday, I think it was Thursday, the headline was the RIA highway have, I guess, no, it has consumed another death, another person died on our highway, okay? Because of the construction, the dust and everything, people are losing their lives on less than 20 miles.
4 years now, almost.
Yes. And we had
Then there wasn't there a ceremony a month or two ago?
That's correct. Red light. I had to call it not red light. He said, is this on street light where you and I went? How many street light were? Maybe like 20.
I'm telling you.
It was like 2 blocks.
And even then, and even then, this is not to disparage it, but even then, you see the light up that's shuffling. I think it must be like 20 watts or something.
Yep.
It doesn't even light up anything. You just see a little dim in the darkness. I don't know, man. Yeah, but there was a big ceremony about lighting up but that one of the reasons that so many deaths beside the narrowness of that road. The road is very small. And then I've seen some of the most atrocious driving on that road. You going at somebody coming straight at you from the opposite lane, trying to, and people pass by you on both sides, left and right. They overtake you. I never seen that. Usually you drive right and pass left, but they don't care. So and the road, like you said, it's and that's our international highway. I don't know, man, Jerome. That's part of the reason why the white people, they have no respect for us, because we don't respect ourselves in the first to begin with.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. You and I were on the highway, we're going back and forth, and the scary part of the road that it has no markings.
No.
So you don't know where your lane ends.
No marking, no shoulder. You got these high embankment. Sometimes you can't even stop at where you want to stop because there's nowhere to get down. You gotta go in front.
I was on the road one day. I was coming from RIA, and Ellen was going to RIA. In front of Sheffield, in front of that long fence, that big drop where there was no sidewalk. They started trying to force me. I refused. I told them, you gotta hit this car because I'm not going to throw myself into that ditch. She is here, and you're destroy the country and then build no shoulder. And they saw that I refused, so they got back over and they crossed, they passed me, and then they went and started forcing everybody else off the road.
It is. We got to talk. Well, let's go to the first thing on our agenda here. Is a few months ago we saw the present government and the minister or director of LPRC going around. And this is not a George Weah government. This is not a previous administration. We have enough oil. We have enough reserve to sufficiently cater to our people, letting us know that the price will not change and all that. So here we are. We are having some issues with oil. Government announces fuel prices increase. Gasoline at $5.09. Fuel oil $6.65 in Liberia. From the same group of folks that said we shouldn't worry, we have sufficient reserve. Mr. Namwe, this is Tuet is he from your Barabo area there, or is a different kind of
No,
Tuet?
he's from the south. I think he's from Sino. I don't know him well, but it sounds to me like he's I think he's a crew boy. I think he's from Sino, but that is beside the point. Yeah, when this crisis started, they came out and promised that there will be no increase in the price of gasoline. Imagine that. We're not an oil producing country. How will anybody make that kind of pronouncement? It is the same kind of, I don't want to, use the descriptive, but it's the same thing as no car getting stuck in the mud after 100 days. What is your reliance? What have you done to come out and make this kind of pronouncement? So they came out and said there will be no increase in the price of gasoline. What has happened? This crisis started 5 weeks ago. It started in February. I think gasoline price has gone up 3 times in Liberia for a total of $1.12. First time they increased it by 5 cents, then they increased it by a whopping 85 cents, and now they're increasing it by another 22 cents. And I can tell you this increase is not going to be the last, because this crisis is going to get worse before it gets better. I think you've seen our president here, using expletive-laden tweets. I think by Tuesday, he's going to escalate the crisis with Iran. I think things are going to get worse. And so I come back to, what Musa Bility said 2-3 weeks ago when the crisis started. And he didn't just say, he wrote it and said, take advantage of the gasoline that is already in country. And in the futures market, they call that hedging, but buy the gasoline at the price that it is sitting down now, because the price is going to go up, but when he said it, and that's the arrogance of this government. I think they have all the answers. When he said it, a lot of people came out, what is man? But that is his lived experience. Gasoline, that's what he did. So he told them that this is going to get bad. Prices will continue to rise. We're not producing our own oil. We're not in control of the markets. And so as the prices rise, the price of oil locally will have to rise too. So the best thing to give yourself a breathing space, all the oil that we have in country now, call up all of the importers who are storing gasoline and buy it at the current price. At least you will have something, and then you can, that will save you to go and hustle around. I don't think they've done that, but it's not late yet. I think they can do that. There are other things I think this government should be contemplating. For instance, to save on gasoline, they can decide to cut the work day. Instead of people working 5 days a week, maybe they should declare people working 4 days a week and give them, another day off. Close the schools down, because as people go to work, they're burning electricity. They're using water. All of these things are going to be difficult to come by as this war continues to linger. And I hope the government will do something, but it just seems to me like I don't see anything happening, and our people are feeling the pinch, because we all being like, when gasoline price goes up, everything else goes up, because everything depends on transportation, even down to potato greens in the market. Everything goes up, and our people are going to feel the pinch.
Well, Newberry and Emmanuel Bro say he's from Riverside.
River G.
Somebody said River says here.
Okay.
Listen, we got another person said River says.
Right.
Another person said River G. Good. We don't want him nearby, so let him go to River G. We don't want him near us. Let him go to River G. We take him over there. But that's what the problem. But ladies and gentlemen, I am because of the price of gas, I am selling my Hummer. If you need a Hummer for cheap, I would sell my Hummer and buy me a Toyota, so we can even swap. The Hummer takes 33 gallons to fill. 33 gallons. So I think I can swap that. If you got a Toyota, or you got a Bobby Slow, or anything small, you can have Mahoma and transport your coal if you want to do
Yeah.
that. But Tao, the folks were bragging that they had coal, they had enough fuel, that they were not like the previous government. They had enough reserve. Now we're finding out today, the Commerce Ministry just announced 655 for diesel, 509 for regular fuel.
Yeah. So look at what happened here. It's not, you know, the way the government work in Liberia. A lot of the guys don't know anything. They don't understand. I keep saying how to actually govern it. They don't understand that. People are not qualified. They have no experience in these places. They place them there. Everybody think that they're spokesperson because it's supposed to be you defending your political party or your own person that is in there. They didn't look at no numbers. They don't understand anything. They just spoke. Everybody with common sense knew that you don't produce anything for yourself. So why wouldn't gasoline price go up? Do you have a refinery that's refining? No. So why wouldn't it go up? So the statement itself and the fact that these statements are made, the opposite happened, nothing happened to them. They're not held responsible. The guy probably run and become a senator or something. So this is the issue. But look, and it's sad, but for all of Africa, none of them produce their own gas. The way they set it up is that they must extract from you. Even in Ghana, Nigeria is worse. Nigeria does not own any refinery that is meaningful. Forget about that store that Dangote have. That is not a refinery. Are working oil and gas for 12 years. And when they were building that, I asked a question. And I said, because my friend lives in Lagos and one is here. And I said, hey, this guy is building a refinery. Where is the pipeline that is coming from the storage facility or straight from the rig? Almost all of the refinery they see land along the US, if they're drilling 300 miles offshore, the pipeline run from there and they come straight into the refinery. So I said, how and no Nigerian have oil field. The Nigerian government does not own its own oil field. The government of Nigeria done. The NNPC that they have is just a money laundering scheme where they just charge people and they collect money in and share it. So how is he going to get the crude oil for him to refine it? Because Shell coming in and they're getting it for their own refineries in Holland, when these other guys coming, they're bringing it to the US and China coming, they're bringing it to China, India, and all these places. So are they going to go ahead and come in, collect the crude oil, then bring it and deposit it to his port, to his refinery? And I ask this question because it's more expensive for a tanker to come from USA or from somewhere else, come and get the oil from the rig and then bring it and then dock and then unload at the refinery. It's cheaper to just have a pipeline, and they didn't exist. So what Dangote have is just a storage facility like the way we have, and it does separation and stuff like that, but it's not a refinery that deal with actual crude oil. And the evidence have been that my friend is major in the oil and gas business, gas station, when I told him at first, and he has talked to people there, and they don't refine any crude oil there. So I'm making the point to say Nigeria, that's supposed to be the largest producer of crude, their price is going up because Africa does not produce its own energy. We don't produce our own gas. So Ghana the same way. So the price will go up. The fact is that these guys think that by coming and making some kind of statement, it's supposed to be a political statement, and it's supposed to give them some kind of a good face, like Nangwe just said earlier. No car will be stuck in the mud in 100 days. The only area that I'm surprised at why the price is up so fast is the US. I work in the Gulf and throughout the whole US in the oil and gas. None of the oil and gas come from the Middle East. They're all produced here. So why are our prices up here? The moment the first announcement was made, the prices went up. And I spoke to many of the guys that are working on the rigs and everything. Whether production stopped, they said no, production is still busy all around the Gulf, but the price is up. Okay, but the 12, I mean the Boycott group, they knew that the price was going to go up, but they thought that they would just make some kind of announcement. Liberia really can't do much. They can't do much. One thing that the government could do though is that if they are serious, which they won't do, cut all the gas, cut allowances that you give to all these people. Cut it. This is the best time for you to remove that. Cancel that. Take that and try to apply it to the country in areas that is needed. And then, I don't know about the FPRC. I know when I was little, they said that they have storage capacity and they used to buy and store. I don't think they really do that anymore. So maybe they need to go back and look into this and start doing it. Go in, increase the volume where you have like all these countries have reserves, right, Jerome?
Mm-hmm.
So where is our reserve? So we need to build the capacity for us to have reserve so that the government can be able to at least cushion the economic fallout when stuff like this happen over at least the short term while looking for long-term solution.
Well, they if you wanted to steal from your own folks, you look for excuse, and they got a perfect excuse. But let's move to the next one here. I have an editorial which is from the Liberian Investigator. It said law, trust, and the NEC is an editorial. And it was published yesterday. It said President Joseph Yuma Boaga nomination of Jonathan K. Weeder as chair of the National Elections Commission has sparked a debate that goes beyond law and enters the deeper terrain of trust, and rightly so. On the face of it, the process is straightforward and lawful. The Constitution establishes the NEC as an autonomous body, while the election law clearly gave President Boaga the authority to nominate commissioners, including the chair, subject to Senate confirmation. There is no ambiguity here. If the nominee meets the qualification, Liberian citizenship, age requirement, good character, and no active political party affiliation, then the appointment stands on solid legal grounds. By that measure, Jonathan Weeder nomination is not illegal. But this movement calls for a broader lens. The concern being raised by civil society and political actors is not rooted in statutory violation. It is rooted in perception. How Liberians see the independence of the very institution that will referee the elections is the point. Weeder is not being questioned for his lack of competence. In fact, even his critic acknowledges his experience. He understands the electoral system. He has worked within it for years. He knows its mechanics and pressures. The issue is whether he can be trusted to stand above his political affiliations. That question has emerged because his perceived proximity to the ruling establishment during the 2023 elections. Whether those perceptions are fair or overrated is in some way beside the point. In electoral matters, perception often carry as much weight as facts. And in Liberia's context, where elections are closely contested and trust in institutions is still evolving, perception can shape acceptance or rejection of outcome. Mr. Taiwo, this one is an editorial from a newspaper that those who are trying to make the case based on legality are basically wrong, because that is not the question. Everybody knows that the president has the constitutional right to appoint, but not because it's legal means it's morally right. Your take on that, we've been saying it here, but this is now from
but then they say that the Anglo-Judeo justice system or legal system they gave us, that morality have nothing to do with it. They say it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So you have law or legal system that does not consider morality. And those are some of the shortfalls I've been talking about. But look, to discuss this, I heard people saying that this stuff supposed to be a neutral place, it's not to be political. Yeah, it's in a political system. It's always going to be political. The president is a political person. The executive is a political area, and if he is going to appoint somebody, he's going to appoint somebody that he thinks can serve the interest, his personal interest or interest of his party, for them to continue in power or in some form. So for me, I really don't have much to say because I have no real interest and trust in the whole electoral politics or wrapped in the way in which it's packaged and given to us in the so-called multi-party democracy. But just like they said their own rule, that there is nothing that said that the man can be appointed. He's appointed. You have your legislatures, right? That's supposed to go ahead and do the vetting. And if he wins, he get there and he decide to cheat and he take the country down the road of chaos and uprising, then that's it. But where is Wheeler from? Where did he reside long? The reason I'm asking these questions is, for me, it's not so much like the appointed who. If the system itself is corrupt and is porous, whoever you actually bring there, especially the president appointing the person is going to lean in that direction. Whether it's Chief Justice, whether it's LACC, whether it's whoever, right? The point here is if Wheeler is actually a local that have lived in Liberia and have all of his roots there and his children, everybody they are there, he will be careful. Because if he make any kind of decision that is against in terms of trying to cheat, if he was confirmed and the country fall into chaos, he will have to be there and deal with the fallout with him and his family. But if Wheeler is from abroad and he comes in, guess what? He really won't care that much. If there is a fallout, he jumps on a plane, he goes back to where he came from. If Gregory Coleman is running the police, and he can do all kinds of stuff. If it leads to tension and there is a fallout, we saw that they jump on the plane and he just come back. So for me, that is where the whole thing is. If this guy can make a decision that he will be full for him to be there to live with it, if he was confirmed, then that's it. But it's difficult for you to actually pinpoint this stuff because the rules are saying that that nothing stops him legally. Everybody's affiliated with some kind of party, or at least to an individual. If the president is going to appoint you, you got somehow you and that president have some kind of relationship, or some of the advisors to that president. They're bringing you in because they believe you can serve their interest in some way. And so let us not try to not see that.
Yeah. Mr. Dame, I know you might well just give up on that game because I'm looking at it. It's 34 points. But the argument that we keep making here, right? And our other friend Pee Wee just couldn't get is they are banned that it is legal. And the editorial here is saying the same thing. It being legal is not an argument here. Not because it is legal means it is right. This is what we are saying, where a system that is nerve center require respect, acceptance, and integrity. If from the beginning the folks are saying you have neither one of those, you can be legally right, you will not be morally and culturally right and not accepted in society. The Liberian Constitution gave you the right to free movement to live anywhere you want to live. But if people know you to be a rapist and you are a habitual rapist, they don't want you in the neighborhood. Whether you say legally I can live here, yes. But the community member can join together and say, we don't want you here because you are a rapist. Your take.
No, I think you guys are right. What is legal may not always be right. Well, acceptable. I think the lifeblood of the elections is, like you said, is you know, integrity, credibility. So perception really carries a lot of weight here. And right now, we're just coming out of a chaotic, a very brutal civil war. You don't want to, stir up emotions again that would take us back to the dark days. And so those who are calling, including the CMC, we have indicated that within this nomination should be withdrawn, because Mr. Witter is not just a nominal, a nominal affiliate of the UP. He is a very devout, a very, very active, very high prominent member of the UP. He's a strategist. We understand he headed the war room during this going elections. So because of all these, we think that him being a human, um, if he has to make any decision at the commission, he will revert to muscle memory and he will go back to being a UP because of his public expressions and his public conduct. And so, because of that, we think the president should rethink this nomination, and we think he should withdraw Mr. Wheeler. There are a lot of other competent people in Liberia who can do this job. I understand, and again, like you said, I think everyone is in agreement that Mr. Wheeler has the requisite experience, and at the commission, he's been there. I understand, for over 20 years. So he needs he's qualified to do the
I have
job.
somebody here who wants to say something to you. Your name
Yes.
and where you calling from?
Ali Kumar, how you doing?
Go ahead, Chief.
My consistency on this network, and I want to thank you for holding it down. You and Mr. Pat Moore.
You see Pat Moore here, you give it credit. You want to give credit to Tower or Victor because you don't like them. Pat Moore, they're not even here.
No, but I was about to say hi to my senior, Mr. Victor J. Victor Nangwe.
What made he your senior?
I'm from Africa. Victor Nangwe is older than me significantly.
How you know? You know when you were born. How you know he's older than you?
He concur. That's all that matters.
Go ahead.
I want to also say hi to the radical extremist, Mr. Tao. I just wanted the audience to hear a couple of things, especially for those who have not been to the country for a little while. I speak to you from my birth county of Margibi right now. And I can tell you, I know most of the things that are going on that are right and that are wrong. You talk about 100 days of mud being on the road. That's old news. Almost every region in Liberia is accessible. When I say accessible, it's accessible in due time. All right. Economic costs.
What is due time now? 100.
Come on, Victor, let me talking political talk due time. I mean, even if you want to, Babylon may take it 1 year. I leave you there in due time. Go ahead, man.
It's not a political talk. It's the fact on the ground, and they can be verified. All right. The government have cut down costs in transportation up to nearly half. For example, 12,000 to Zurich is now 5,000. That's more than half.
When?
But I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm telling you right now.
So if it were, but Ali, if it were 5,000 a month ago, and it just went up, the gas just went up about $2, it's still the same 5,000.
No, but again, I am not talking about the extra that has been added onto that. Yes, you are correct. The last Azurja driver that I've spoken with is between 8,000 and 7,000. But here's the thing. Either way, it's still cut in half. On this Robertsphere Highway, there is public buses running on these highways. A lot of Liberians like to move faster, so sometimes they get care and the other stuff. And some of them will get taxi cab. So life is not as bad as somebody's making it seem. And Victor also said that the government said the gasoline price is not going to increase. Of course, gasoline price has not increased as far as the government is concerned. However, there are other people who call, the gas sellers on the sidewalk who also make up their own prices. I currently buy gas for $1,000. Cheap. However, the government price is still $910 per gallon. So it is not the government that is increasing the prices. It is the business people who are taking advantage of the situation. Talking about Mr. Weather, Mr. Gilman, you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time.
If I pay for my cake, I will eat it. If I pay for my cake, I will eat it.
I want you to speak only from one side of your mouth, not both sides. Are we having moral argument here, or are we having legal argument? Decide which side you want to take.
I'm having I'm not on the legal side.
Okay, there's them, but then I mean, what can we do about you? Because either one is correct. So what do we do?
Oh, so
the president has the choice. The president has it right now to make the decision, and that's what he's going to make. And this decision is going to stand. Now, what I would tell you and tell all other Liberians is, go to the Supreme Court. You can use the court whenever you feel that somebody is misusing power. It has happened a few times. People have tested the court system here. Yeah, there are some bad apples, but the court system to an extent is working. Now, let me discuss this whole thing about putting all of our problems on the West. I understand colonialism. I understand racism. I understand imperialism. I know they all still exist. But when we hold ourselves responsible for our own problems, you see, whenever an African stands up, another African kills them and say the West, killed the person. I did not see one white soldier during the execution of Thomas Sankara. I saw all black, including people who knew his bedroom when he was growing up with his father. The people I saw that shot Lumumba were Congolese and his best friend Mamputu. I know the argument will be over. Those people, you got nothing, they got no right. You can stand your ground like some people are standing their ground in Burkina Faso today. But if we just say, the IMF did all of this for this, all of this, but what's stopping you from standing your ground, even if you be punished for it? If the entire Black Africa decide we're going to have a mutual process here, we're going to make sure that whatever we do must be all African. We must drop our own financial, what you will call it. We must drop our own maritime, what you will call it, and do it together. I don't think the West can sanction the entire Africa at once. They cannot succeed. It's not possible because France have their own interests. China have their own interests. Russia have their own interests. So it's not going to work. Then you're going to have them fighting among themselves. Are Africans capable of doing this? So let us take responsibility for our own weaknesses, for our own inability to unite, and start putting the blame on these people. We're making these people feel inferior. We're making people feel superior. To say because of them, you cannot grow. You cannot create future for your children, your unborn children, because of them. Because you're afraid of them that they will break it. Then we're standing on the losing side. But Mr. Gilman, it's a good show. Thank you for having me.
Can I respond?
Yeah, I'm coming. He said he saw Patrick Lumumba. When was it? That was 1945 or something like that. So
the man only 25 years old.
Yeah, this man, Victor, that was before you were born, but the man said you already go ahead.
Talk. Look at what happened here.
All right, I'm gonna begin. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Kamara. But look, I will address what he's saying from the end, and I'll go backward. He has a strong point on the statement that he made concerning the West, but it is not about if the Africans blame them. We are right. But it is not, you see, I think it is not blaming them. It is pointing out the external influence so that then it is understood. And this is the case that we'll continue to make, because whenever we make this case, the opposition that will meet is our own Africans. And some, because they have personal interest, and a vast majority because they are ignorant of the influence of the outsiders, whether the Chinese or the West. And so what we try to do is to point it out so that it is known. Yeah, we are still responsible. But if you have your children and you know that they have some trouble here, but you know that they have friends that are influencing them in the wrong way, you can't just ignore the friends that are influencing them. You have to point it out. And then you hold your child responsible, so that then in holding them responsible, when the friend come back to them to try to say, they say, no, my father said that you are going to say this, and no, I'm not going to agree to do this. And that is a point, so that we point out the IMF, the World Bank, and all the different groups, so that when our people know and the youth know as they're growing up, so that then they can see all the deception, they can see all the hidden hands. So that when the time comes, when the IMF show up and say, I'm here to help you, they say, no, you are not. Because we already know who you are. So mentioning that is not trying to exempt ourselves and the people that are willing for them to sell us out. But we are just pointing out, and as long we don't want to hear this or recognize this, we're going to still be going, because they will constantly bring different programs. So we have to understand it in that manner. But look at what happened here. This guy, and that is the only thing that I agree with you on, and it makes a lot of sense. But you keep trying to defend this government. You are in Liberia, but you know, I don't think you really do anything meaningful in Liberia. Because I'm serious. Because I'm doing a lot of stuff there, and I know a lot of people, and I'm dealing with power. About 6 or 7 months ago, I mentioned here that the power was not stable and it was bad. Kamara jumped up that the power was so stable that, in fact, it put America to shame. When I was struggling with power outages, and it's still going on, sometimes 2 days, and I'm not even in Kakata, where you were born. The place that we are operating from is right there in VOA area, around Bonja area, not far from there, Brownfield Highway. We didn't have power. That solar, we have to start using solar. We have to start buying generator backup. When I told him that the registration for vehicles was so expensive that it was making it difficult for Liberians to be able to afford, he jumped up, he registered a vehicle for $25. There's the same guy that pointed this out, Honor Opon. Now it is Honor Boyka. He wants to debate everything. You all were here when I told him that what Becca Rice was at, he said Becca Rice was $10 or $8. So he just throws stuff around. So I don't really think he's doing anything meaningful in Liberia when he's there, or then out of just share wickedness to the Liberian people, he wants to actually lie that the economy is working. The economy is not working. It is not working. He wants to say that the roads are passable. It's not true. I have relatives and stuff in Sano and Riverside and stuff. They can barely get to Buchanan. They can barely get to Saniquili without getting stuck on the road many times. So stop this stuff. The Liberian people live there, and they know this, they experience this. So I just want for me to tell him that try to be honest, man. Don't try to defend this government or any other government. Tell the truth that without benefit the Liberian people. If it is not benefiting them, point it out.
Thank you. Let me go to let's use the next 10 minutes to discuss. I will give you 3 topics, and then you can go, and then later on, then we'll go around and do our closing. Sam Jackson has been charged. There were a lot of issues in the United States when the police have done their job and they turn all the evidence is over to the DA for onward charges, which is the legal part. When the police IG was reading all the violations on Sam Jackson, there were not one lawyer from the district attorney's office, from the city county attorney's office, from the justice department. The the police chief read the charges, charged Mr. Jackson. He did everything. And folks are saying, what kind of police department is this? You collect the evidence, you do the investigation, and then you do the charges too. That's one. The last one here is Rodney Sear is asking. He says that the managing editor, Rodney Sear, says ex-president Weah's comeback in 2029 depends on the reinvention and reconciliation of the party. Is that way your take? Let me say congratulations to UCLA for the winning of the national title. And we got to tip our hats off to the South Carolina Gamecocks. They have won, I think, 3 out of the last 6, and they've been to 4 out of the last 6 finals. Great work. Very, very successful group of folks. We got to share the winning on.
Yeah, hats off to UCLA. Yes, I think they played a very masterful game. They dominated the Gamecocks. I think Don Stiller is going to go back on the drawing board. And the one thing I noticed, they brought in the team is very big. You know, they
Yeah,
have
the
lots of
size.
yes,
The size
that's a
is
big. So they dominated the game on the rim and all of that stuff. But they play a very masterful game. I think this is their first national title. So congratulations to them.
Mhm.
Uh, but you know, my friend Valley, you know, my Peking, because you know, you say I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
pocket.
yeah. You're a small brother. Not even your
Yeah,
younger brother, but a small brother.
this one, but and I graciously accept that. He needs to go back and look up his information. Since the crisis started in February, I believe the government has increased the price of gasoline at least 3 times. The first increase was about 85 cents, and then it tacked on another 5 cents. In March alone, they increased. March alone, they increased the price of gasoline twice. This current increase is third. So we're not making this stuff up. He needs to go back and take a look. Um, Coming back to the topic, Sam Jackson, I believe, he, I mean, it's the case is ongoing. There are a lot of people who feel the police has finally started being a little bit more professional in the handling of this matter, even though there are questions about why the IG still continues to speak on this matter. You know, we think that the matter is out of the police hands now. It shouldn't be the one still speaking on this case. The man has been charged. I would think the Solicitor General should be speaking on this matter now. You know, not the IG. But again, we started the show by observing that the IG is everywhere. You know, so. But I think the charges, manslaughter. I think there are relative to murder. I think they carry uh, much lighter, penalty. I think the maximum is 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, if you were to be found guilty. Again, you know, uh, manslaughter, as opposed to premeditated murder and all of that stuff. So, I see his lawyers. I think, Sam is, I think he'll put up a very, very, ferocious defense, and I think his lawyers will do. But let me quickly talk about what Rodney said that you ended up with. So I think the question he raised, Rodney said, I have a lot of respect for Rodney. I know him very well. He's I think he's very, very deliberate in his speech. He's very careful. So I'm not going to disparage the question that he's raising, as to whether the coup was necessary and all of that. You know, uh, I think the coup was. Do we need to apologize? The progressives who agitated for this coup? Absolutely not. We got absolutely nothing to apologize for. Is it regrettable that lives were lost? Absolutely. And for that, I think it's regrettable. But there were lives lost on all sides. Not to channel, Donald Trump with his fine people on both sides from Virginia, but a lot of lives were lost. So we as Liberians, we need to find a way to reconcile, but to to raise the questions as to the legitimate reasons for the coup. There was, look, our people were being subjugated, debased, treated like less human, you know. And I was saying it to my friend on another network. You would think that they still call us boys, even though you may be married and serving them. They call you boy, boy John, boy Peter, because for them you'll never grow up. Those kinds of debasement. That's what is subjected to our people. You come in, you cooking the food, you can't even taste it. You're not allowed to taste it. You sleep in different quarters. You carry the chimo bucket of their children. Not even, look, we can go ahead and recount why, not to talk about the national level, the deprivation of our people. I came up from the village. I saw my uncles, being taken in the town square. They sit in the middle of the town facing the sun because they didn't have 25 cent taxes to pay. They set them in cow dung. You understand me? In the middle of the town. I know my uncles in the town who ran when the soldiers came. We didn't have flush toilet. We have outside toilet. Those of you who are queer, you don't know what I'm talking about. But we build our toilet, a few feet away and put a stick over it. That way we pass out, people go and run away and fall in that toilet and they stay standing there until those soldiers can leave town. You understand me? That's the kind of lifestyle they subjected our people to, And so when we talk about the coup was absolutely necessary. They were lording it over our people. All we wanted was equal access to our natural resources. They won. So, you can do the research, 5% of the people owning 99.9% of the wealth in the country. And we're going to argue whether the coup was necessary. The change was inevitable. Let me put it this way. The change was inevitable. Our people were being systematically deprived. 300 families were running the whole country, interconnected, marrying each other. You understand me? Cousins and brothers and nephews, and they were running the country. You had to be of a certain name to even have a real job in the government of your country that you have a right to. And so our people agitated. We sharpened the contradictions. That's what we did from 74, 75 on. That led to the coup. Were we the one who made the coup? No. Samuel Doe and his team, they hijacked the coup. They came in and imposed whatever they wanted. The progressives came into the government. By 81, 82, they had all left the government because they and Samuel Doe have fallen out. So the way things turned out up to 1989, that's not the design of the coup makers. So when people look at what Doe did and today looking at Yega Koluba and the rest of them, and they're talking about, the native people, please, cut me a break. Why the native people? Charles Taylor ruled this country here. Was he native? Ellen Johnson ruled this country for 12 years. Is she native? Julie Bryant, is he native? Don't tell me about native who have been ruling the country. What you are witnessing is the failure to lay a foundation for this country. That's why got where we are today. It had nothing to do with Yeke Koluba, or Wakai in the or Wea. That's not what it is. So if you're looking at it through that lens, you are mistaken. And so that's a debate we're prepared to have. And that's one of the things that brought me here. We think our story is being mistold by people, revisionist historians, who are nitpicking. They're talking Toba was the best president ever. Are you kidding me? You know how many of our young sisters Toba was running through? Belefana. Have you heard about that? Have you heard about that? So we have to be careful. I respect Ronnie a lot. I think it's a legitimate question he raised. I think it's a philosophical question, in my opinion. We can debate that any day. Everyone can organize a debate here and we can bring it out here. We can sit here and talk about what necessitated the coup, and then the audience will tell us whether the coup was necessary or not. Most of the people we sit here with today, they're still living off the royalty from their parents' land that was taken from our parents. Some of them live here with all the go home and go and collect rent at the end of every year, millions of dollars. And you and I are sitting here, we're doing our 9 to 5, we're working, 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, because we don't have anything. They went to the best schools on our dime. On our dime. Some of them, they always sit here and talk about these. And they know that. They didn't marry any of what they own. Very few of them did. So when we come here, we talk about why the coup was necessary, and these questions keep popping up. Yeah, let them come out. We're prepared to debate them. But to say whether the coup was necessary or not, absolutely yes, it was. A change was inevitable. The way Liberia was going was untenable. Too many of our people were being deprived. A very few people were living it up off our dime, and they went out to sit there and wait. And wait for what? Please.
Taiwo, let's listen to this and then you respond.
In an atmosphere of democratic interaction between government and governed, a group of individuals came forth and requested permit for a demonstration on the identical issue. Government invited the individuals in an attempt to effect a meeting of the minds. True to our firm faith in democracy, the exchange was free and frank. We reiterated our assurance that the matter was continually under advisement, that we would still welcome any new suggestions, and that at the end of the day, only the supreme interest of the people would prevail in the matter. Soon we were again informed that in spite of all that had transpired, the demonstration would still proceed in total defiance of the laws of Liberia and duly constituted authority, notwithstanding the fact that they had been denied a permit when requested, and this information had been repeatedly brought to their attention. As I have sworn, as your president, to defend the Constitution and enforce the laws of the Republic of Liberia, I had to discharge those sacred responsibilities in defense of the nation and its people. In the merely occasioned by a defiant and illegal demonstration, the most tragic misfortune occurred of the death of some of my precious and promising citizens and wounding of a number of others, all of this with the attendant development of damage to millions of dollars worth of property. Had government not exercised restraint, there may have been even more casualties. I'm deeply hurt and aggrieved by this national tragedy, and I extend preliminarily in this manner my sincere sympathy and profound regrets to the affected families.
Ladies and gentlemen, as this month comes and headed to the middle, we are going to be discussing April 12, April 14 in our history. Hopefully we can learn from our history and don't repeat some of our past. Mr. Taiwo, you can address all of those issues in your closing.
Yeah, the Sam Jackson stuff, I really don't have much to say, or I don't really have that much trust in the Liberian justice system and the police. One thing that I know, though, that if I don't know whether Sam Jackson is guilty or not, or whether he did it or not, but if he was to get convicted and if it's affiliated with CDC, if CDC come to power in 2029, he will get released from prison. We saw that when Gloria Scott was convicted on a CDC, and they said whether she did the crime or not, the stuff was that because she worked with Boakai and George, we hadn't wanted certain document. We don't know which one was true, but we know that the moment Boakai came to power, she was free. I didn't hear anything but retrial. I didn't see nothing. She was just released, and then she walked into the sunset, and nothing was really done, and everything's closed. So that's the Liberia that we have, and that's the justice system. But look, I agree with just about everything that J. Victor said. I've never been on the same page with J. Victor at any point in this time. In the first place, the coup was very necessary. Whether it was coup, whether it was change, whether it was removal. Because look at what happened here. In any society, whenever mobility, social mobility is obstructed or restricted, there will all be uprising. Because no one was put on this earth to just sit and be stagnant. And they have no hope to imagine to get up to any level, to rise up to be able to create space for their children and their grandchildren to be able to succeed or at least express themselves. And that is what you saw. My grandfather was tortured almost on a monthly basis because they needed to pay hot tax. He was put in the attic. They light fire under him. They put pepper in the fire. They took 2 sticks with 2 chains on the side with a wedge, and they put it on his shin, what we call crazy bone, and squeeze it until he peed on himself that they needed to give $4 per hut. That's the kind of stuff that was going on. Forget about all of the speech that Tub was reading. Or politics and leadership is not about intent or some speech, it's about result. Let's look at the result. When he decided that they didn't want them to import rice anymore, what did he do? He became the largest rice, instead of him created a national rice program, food program, to where they empower the farmers that were the backbone. They in China with them decided that they were going to take government money, make themselves farmer, and then turn around and sell the rice to the nation the same way they did the ministries and everything else, build their house and then rent it to the government. So yes, it was necessary. So that question, we can put it to bed anytime. And this is why I say here, some people say that Congo people don't exist. It's not about Congo people, actually. It's the attitude, it's the mindset that still exists in some people. When they will tell you that Liberia was good then, good for who? It was still good because your grandfather or your uncle were reaping the benefits, taking people's stuff. I remember one of my uncle, when Toba took his young wife into the Mabakle, and he was told that he shouldn't even come back to that place. My father told me the story. My uncle that is in Florida knew and told me the story. He would just walk anywhere. So I'm just trying to, because he roamed that whole Mabakle area and all of those Johnsonville linked to that area, all the women over there. But that's something else. But we're talking about just running the country. So yes, it needed to change. Now, for me, yes, the PRC or whatever you call them came in and there was some hijacking, but it was not so much that they hijacked. Because for me, the problem that I have with the progressive is this, is that they could not come together as a single force for them to work together and put their different interests aside. Everybody was so egotistic. Apparently, maybe they were too young, or then everybody felt that there was some kind of big dog, that they could speak the big English, that they could do this, that they had their own ideology, and they could not come together. And in the midst of that, they were pretty much pushed aside. Because if they came together as a single force for them to work together, then it probably would have been different. But they failed in that regard. And then when Doe put them out, when the opportunity came for them to come together to run against Doe, they could not even unite. Everybody wanted to have their own party because everybody felt that they needed to be president. And that same mindset still exists today. And for me, so when we point out what the Congo people did not do right, and any Congo person or their figures cannot deny that, we must also point out where the progressive failed that need to be corrected. We need to put away this interest for self so much. Let us come together and try to form single party, single units, and work for the interest of the country. And to end this, this is what I would say. The same conditions that existed in 1980, although the same condition came again in 1989. Once social mobility is stagnant and people don't see no hope, they can't move up, they don't have a means for them to get promoted in society, they will always rise up, or they can easily be used. The same condition that led to 1980, that led to 1990, the same condition exists today. We have a lot of youth in our country, no social mobility, no hope. They're just waiting for somebody to organize them, and there will be a blowback. And for some reason, the government or people in government just don't see this. And so somebody would tell me that under these conditions, that if there is a change, whether peaceful or violent, would the question be, was it necessary? No, change is inevitable even now, today. So people in government and people entering have to know this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Happy Easter. We're going to cut it short and let you go home and have dinner with your significant others, your wives, your children, your grandchildren, your friends. Yes, he is risen. If you are a member of our faith, today is a very important day in Christendom. Today is considered the day that we overcame the power of death. He rose. So from now on, we will say we had a great week. Starting tomorrow, we're going to begin a brand new week, beginning to talk about those issues. Whether you are a politician, whether you like it or not, we're going to keep talking. You talk your own, we talk our own. That's how we call it. Until then, we want to say thank you to Honorable Namwe, Mr. Tawo, that been here faithfully. We want to say we are all Liberian, no matter what happens. Love your country. If it's safe for everybody else, it will be safe for you. God bless.
We are